Rob Johnson, thanks very much indeed for being with us today.
My pleasure.
And looking really at the Asian Global Dialogue as we've seen it over the last few days, what really struck you in terms of the financial area that people were discussing? They were talking about a new infrastructure, they were talking about how finance should have better standards. Where was it for you, really?
Well, I think there were a number of things. First of all, the discussion of small and medium enterprise, which came out of your Asia 2020 report, really hits the nail on the head. That's where jobs are, that's where creativity is, and that's where many countries stall out. So I enjoyed seeing that highlighted. Stanley Fischer, the keynote speaker, he spoke about finance. This is a man who, through the IMF and through central banking, has had tremendous experience. And what he said over and over again is trust and expectations of the future, which are not anchored in anything because we have what they call the unknown unknowns out there, create the potential for a very fragile financial system. And our system architecture is not designed on what you might call heightened awareness of those premises.
Of course, you are been in the industry, in the financial industry yourself. How would you see your own company, your own perspectives on the financial architecture of the future? How would you see it developing, and how would you see the sort of end game, if you like, for this?
Sure. Well, first of all, I think something they call too big to fail is demoralizing. People subject themselves to market discipline. Sometimes it's painful. And when the biggest players at the center are not subjected to that same discipline, it's demoralizing. It also, as a matter of trust, denigrates people's trust in government. Those big guys don't have to play by the same rules as the rest of us. That doesn't feel right. So I think we need to restore fairness in seeing the financial sector as the nerve center of the capitalist economy, but one which has social responsibility, not just private profit responsibility to their shareholders.
Of course, another big theme, if you like, at the Asia Global Dialogue was on the question of jobs, and that is in some way related to education. How do you see that as a concept? Because a lot of people look at education as being, now it should really depend on education as a means to an end. Yes. Do you think that's the case? And
no, I have a broader sense, sort of a fondness for the humanities. What I would say is this: many people in economics and finance denigrate government. They talk about dysfunction of government. The government is not responsive, the government isn't intelligent. In some sense, that reflects the lack of breadth and education and empathy on the part of the public. The people who the government must respond to need to be educated as citizens, not just as inputs to production.
Another question, of course, was sustainability. One I think that you were interested in, because you mentioned that this is one of those areas that perhaps even in finance is an important one. How would you see those three elements actually linking together, the ones that you seem to be most interested in? That's to say finance, education, and also sustainability.
Yes. Well, sustainability takes on many dimensions. At the first INET conference, Tommaso Padoa-Schioppa was the Italian finance and economy minister. He said, for INET to succeed, you need to simultaneously have resource sustainability, financial sustainability, and social sustainability. What concerns me about jobs and technology is more and more people feel like technology is being developed by the wealthy and the powerful to displace jobs or lower the quality of jobs that are being replaced by automation. So people are frightened. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But people are frightened of that prospect, and it's creating a sense, and here I think is the key to social sustainability. Many people don't care that much what's happening to them, but they want the feeling that their children are going to do better than they are. Many people now dread that their children won't do as well as they have done because they'll be replaced by a machine. And I think that's a cause for concern. I think we have to manage that socially. Financial stability is absolutely essential. It's, how I say, it grounds our faith in our system, our faith in our capacity to work, earn, save, and retire. I think there's a lot of, improvements to be made in that kind of trust and that kind of structure.
So in short, would you say that the Asia Global Dialogue 2013 was in fact an inspirational one?
Yes. I think it was an inspiration in large part because we all get together and we all tell our stories. The word courage comes from the Latin word cor, which is heart, and age of your time, your moment. To tell your story with your whole heart is courage. To be encouraged is to be inspired. To encourage is to contribute to others' strength of heart and that story. And I believe the Asian Global Dialogue encouraged me, and I'm encouraged by what they're doing, and I see the community rising to the challenge.
Rob Johnson, a great note on which to end. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.